Yeah, I know. I had threatened to move from here onto these rocks. I think last time I said that was what I was going to work on, and I lied. Big surprise, eh? When I came down today, I thought, no, I want to play here. This is the most important area. And once I had a good look at it, I thought, it needed much more organizing than I thought it did. I had a large mass of almost shapeless color here. Actually, right across here, for the most part. Mostly here and here. It was only defined by really the trees that were standing in front. So I didn't want to draw all kinds of lines everywhere, at least not in a very dark color. Like in the foreground trees I've used for my outlining, ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. I didn't want to use those colors. So I used a little bit of raw umber. Well, I used raw umber and a very, very, very tiny amount of titanium white to raise the value, to keep the lines, a little less dramatic, shall we say. And then I just began to organize things, come up with shapes in my head, and no, not in my head, came up with shapes on the canvas, and started to organize the whole thing. And I've, sort of worked myself from right to left. This area I'm happy with, this area I'm happy with, this is all good. This is too dark in here yet, it needs a bit of grooming. And you can see that I've been playing in here. Right now you have some clumps of very bright yellow foliage that are just kind of floating around. And I'm not going to draw branches connecting them all, because what's the point of that? If you want to keep impressionistic with your painting, you need to just allow the viewer to guess at some of these things. Indicated line, suggested line, and let the viewer use their imagination. So I haven't gotten too carried away with that. It doesn't look like I've done a lot of work today, but it took me actually several hours to just play and get these things sorted out. And I need to, again, I'm sort of at that point again on the painting, as it is with every painting. I need to go all over the painting in different ways. But today I looked after business up here. After the weekend I might start to play, actually even tonight I might start to play on these rocks, or just continue here to congeal things, to make them appear more cohesive, so that it becomes more apparent to the viewer what's going on. We have a bit of these are underhanging bits of foliage. They don't catch light because they're sort of in general hanging down a bit of a canopy, and they're on the edge of the painting, so we leave that alone. Here we've gotten a little stronger, but this bit of bush is catching some sunlight, but it's still further away than this bush, which is darker. Oddly enough, I have to manage things to make sure that this area looks, this reddish orangish area, stands proud of this, but that these little blobs of yellow stand proud of the orangish area. It just takes time. And I'll give it that. This tree trunk could stand a slash of light. I would like very much to connect this and this. I have a band across here. It's okay as it is, but I think that a good way of connecting that, a good device that I could use to connect top with bottom, is to lay in a bit of a slice of light here, higher value, not necessarily high chroma, but a bit of light, just bring us down, and that'll connect the top with the bottom. If it doesn't quite do the job, I might take some color from here and introduce another blob of foliage, sort of to connect this with the foliage here, if it's required. I don't know if it is yet until I draw in my bit of light here. That will sort of bring us here, sort of sweeping up towards that corner, countered with the strength of, as I say, again, I'm still planning on putting some light and that light, that higher value, will also be higher chroma on this thick trunk on the right hand side. And obviously a little bit of work in the foreground. But you know, working on the background here, I have pretty much played all of my cards on the most intense area here. That's cad yellow, medium, and white. Sometimes cad yellow, medium, and cad yellow pale and white. Sometimes just cad yellow pale and white. So I've played all my cards in the brightest spots here. The camera might show it as being fairly blinding, but now that I know that, I will know how much light I can get away with playing in the foreground. I can't get away with all of the foreground not picking up some of the distant light. That won't unify the painting. It'll almost seem like two paintings. The whole thing will only seem like two planes, you know, the dark and the light. I want to allow a few of these rocks. I've already got a bit of light picked up on them, but not much. I want to be able to raise the value, I think, on some of them. This obviously, as I mentioned, has to be completely restructured. Yeah, so, you know, for balance, I think I'm going to have to bring a bit of light onto some places, maybe in the grass and places as well. Anyway, I'm blithering more than I'm producing, so I'm just going to say have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Oh, you know, come on, Phil. Use your brain. Do a zoomie. I'll do a zoomie here. See, the masses of color that were on the right there, they weren't divided up with some lines, so I drew some lines in there and got it a little bit more organized. Trying to break things up. Some areas I negated, some areas I intensified, and that's just how I do. Yeah, zooming in, you can see the colors there. It's not just a white blinding area. I extended that fairly intense yellow off to the left here a little bit too, just to stretch out that highly sunlit bush in the foreground. It's coming. It's a slow one. These forest ones always are, but that's because there are so many separate objects in them. And due to my technique, yeah, it's a slow go. Anyway, I'm happy with it so far, and there is much more work to be done. See you soon.